Hi everyone! Welcome to 2022. I am so excited to kick off the new year with some really cool fixtures I had acquired over Christmas. These are two of the few fixtures that I have acquired. I want to do a video on these right now because these two fixtures are pretty rare, especially the one on the left here. I really want to do a video about these two fixtures. They're both really rare fixtures, especially this one on the left. These are made by a company called Pemco, and these were made during the 60s. And they're very hard to find, very obscure fixtures, and as of this video, there's no real catalog information out there. No one really knows what these are called, but we all know they exist. So I think since my channel pretty much dedicates a lot of time exploring these fixtures, learning about what they are and what they're like, I think definitely is now a good time to do a video about these. But one fixture at a time. So today I want to focus on this fixture because this is the more obscure fixture that people seem to not really know where a lot of these are still around. So let's go ahead and put that one aside and get this one set up and we can get started.
Alright, so this is my 400 watt Pemco fixture. Unfortunately, there's really, like I said, no information on this fixture that has currently been found. I don't know what the model name is. I do know that this fixture was made during the early 60s. Another fixture was actually created by Pemco that replaced this fixture. During the 60s, Pemco had a whole line of fixtures that no one really knows about, and this is one of them. Even though this fixture is really hard to find, and doesn't really have any catalog or any trade information that really describes specifically what the model name and what the fixture is, I will say that this Pemco fixture is extremely high quality, very heavy duty, and very well built. And I'll also add too that this fixture is extremely complicated to work on. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look in this fixture. Now,
so if I lift the camera up here, we can kind of get a little bit of a view of what it looks like in regards to shape. It's a very nice shape. It's kind of a weird mix. It almost looks like a Westinghouse OV25 remote ballast fixture. And funny enough, when I actually first saw pictures of these from other photographers, I actually thought this was a Westinghouse fixture. And these fixtures are very commonly mistaken as remote ballast OV25s, just another variant. But this is not. This is a Pemco fixture. You can see the nice streamlined design. Like I said, it has that Westinghouse look. It almost looks like a mix between maybe a GE a little bit, you could say, just because it has this little lip line, kind of like the M400 had on the bottom and on the top as well. So definitely kind of mimics that M400 1960 style. But then at the same time, it also mimics that really nice streamlined look that Westinghouse started incorporating into their fixture designs. So yeah, kind of a mix for both. One thing I'm going to probably say as I continue to do videos on my Pemco fixtures is that they're kind of copycats when it comes to how they design their stuff. And when I get into my smaller Cobra head, that little 250 watt fixture, I'll definitely be saying a lot of that, but yeah, this one doesn't mimic it too much, but it definitely kind of resembles that. But yeah, very nice streamlined design. None of the paint is on here, and yes, these actually were painted. They were painted a matte, I think a matte finished silver, kind of like what the M400s used to use. I'm not exactly sure, but when I go to restore this eventually, I'll make sure I get that right. But yeah, very nice, high quality metal. It's very smooth. It's finished well. There's no rough corners or anything on it. Yeah, it's very clean. You can kind of see some remnants of that paint right here, of that matte finish silver. Yeah, very thick, and it is very heavy. It's actually a lot heavier than it should be, and I'll also show you why in just a moment when we get inside. But yeah, very thick, very high quality metal that they use. It's anodized well. It's nice. You can see like a little fin back here. So the slit fitter bolts are kind of inside it there, but there's a bolt right out here for some adjusting. And I'll go into a little bit more detail on that when we, of course, again, get inside the fixture. But yeah, pretty cool. And they're made of stainless steel. Nice little fin design. That's actually one way good way to identify these fixtures. If you guys ever see these fixtures and you see that little fin on the back, you can guarantee that this is a 400 watt Pemco fixture without the model name being known, obviously, but you know, that gives you kind of an indication of what this is. So pretty cool. I do like that little aesthetic, but I don't know if it's exactly really an aesthetic, as I think it just kind of protects these bolts, really, to be honest. But I don't know, pretty cool. You can see there's a spot for a photocell socket. This one is not photocell equipped, however, I can photocell equip this light. Basically, these photocell sockets are basically the same as the GE photocell sockets of its time. All you got is 2 screws here that undo a spinning plate when you loosen them, and then you can twist the photocell or this blank cap, which is what's on this fixture, around to get your adjustment. And I can actually show you that right now. So I got my little handy dandy screwdriver here. So yeah, I can kind of show you that. There's, like I said, just a little spinning plate in there. All you would do is undo these 2 little screws, and you'd spin your photocell if you had one. And yeah, once you have it in position, you just tighten that back down, and voila, you got your photocell positioned the way you need it to. So pretty cool. So yeah, pretty easy. I'd like to see if I could retrofit this with a photocell socket and a Pemco photo socket at that. I don't want to put any other brand in here. I want to keep this fixture as original as possible, just because of how rare it is when I go to restore it. But yeah, it's really a very high quality fixture. Now, like I said, it's very complicated to work, get into the fixture, so let me go ahead and lay it on its back and I'll show you what I mean, because I don't think anyone understands actually how complicated this fixture actually is. Alright, so I got it on its back. Now I'm going to show you what I mean by complicated here. So, right off the bat, you can see like a split right here. I think this fixture is kind of like a power door fixture, and I'll show you why when we get inside. Because this is a door assembly. The ballast isn't directly mounted in this fixture. It's actually mounted to this assembly. So let me open it up and show you basically how you get into this fixture. So Pemco, what's really cool about Pemco is they have these little like button type latches. So all you got to do is press that, and this one's a little bit harder because it actually doesn't have a little thumb thing to hold on to. But you press that in, and then it should lift right out like so. Put it back right here. Lift it up. And then you can slide it back. There's some bracketing right here that holds onto. Slide it back, and then it comes right out like so. So you got your door off here. I'm going to go ahead and set that aside for now, and we'll take a look at that and the glass. So right away, actually, you have to get into the front of this fixture and remove everything in the front to get to this ballast assembly. So now I have to remove this lamp. This isn't the original lamp. I'll actually show you what lamp it used to have had when I had gotten it, because it did have a lamp. Yeah, so you gotta remove that, and you can kind of see it. Down here, there's it's like kind of like Westinghouse. There's a little tension spring here that it sits on. You got to push that in and out like so to remove the reflector, and you can just slide it out. So, like I said, very Westinghouse copycat-like. And we'll take a look at this in a sec as well. Put that aside. All right, so now we're to the ballast. So let me reposition the camera. I want to show you this. This is very weird. Alright, so to get into the ballast assembly now that we've removed everything on the front, there's a latch right inside here. You can see a little barn latch. All you gotta do, and sometimes it's a little hard by hand, so I'll try to see if I can do it by hand. Okay, nope, can't do it. But I'll just use a pry. Like I said, this barn latch here holds it in. You gotta undo that. And you can actually see kind of right here, your light sockets are mounted to this assembly. But yeah, just do that, and then your assembly pretty much just comes off like a 1970s M400. So yeah, here's the ballast assembly, and we'll definitely take a look at this crazy old thing in a minute as well. But yeah, that's basically how you get inside your fixture. So let's go ahead and look at this first, now that we have all this out, and see what we can see. So yeah, now with that ballast assembly out of the way, we can see the slit fitter bolts and the photocell socket. So one thing to mention real quick, to install this fixture, and this is the only way I could think of right now that you could do it, the only way to get actually just the top housing section onto the pole is by having all this other stuff removed out of the fixture, to then be able to access this. So you'd have to put this section up first without everything on it. To be able to install the top housing, you'd have to take everything out to get these slit fitters hooked up, and then when you go to reassemble it, you have to put it all back up in the air. So it's a little weird. It's kind of backwards. There's not just a solid door or anything, you know, so it's very weird in design. I will say, this fixture was not around very long, because like I said, Pemco actually made another fixture, and I'll be getting it soon, and I'll definitely be doing a video on it. But this fixture is just too hard to work on, and a lot of fixtures that were made during this time had solid doors, so you could easily just take the door off, and everything was already in the fixture. But with this fixture, you have to have everything out. And I'll show it to you in a sec. Even like the terminal block is mounted to this assembly, so it's kind of stupidly complicated. So yeah, I can see why this fixture wasn't around probably for very long. So either way, it's still a really good fixture. It's just it's very hard to work on. But anyway, let's go ahead now and look at the inside. So here's those slit fitter rings, I guess, whatever you want to call them. So it's kind of weird how this goes. So I'll put the camera like this. To get the all you gotta do really is just slide your you know, the housing onto the arm and have the pipe go through these, and then to tighten it down. So this bolt right here usually would push down. So when it's all the way tight like this, it's not really out. So all you gotta do is adjust this, and then you can see that bolt starting to come out, and that basically is pressing it down onto the pipe that it's connected to. So it kind of slides right now just because it's not really up in the air or anything, but yeah, that's how it would work. And then for extra tightening, you got these torque screws on here, if it'll focus. The camera never wants to focus. There we go. Those little torque screws. You have 2 sets of those rings. So pretty good, and they're pretty thick. They're just made of a nice cast aluminum, and they're pretty clean still, and they're definitely very high quality. So yeah, pretty cool. Here's that photocell socket. Like I said, there's that spin plate, and your photocell socket would be mounted to that. Now, one thing I don't really understand is how you'd be able to install this without the terminal block and ballast assembly here, because you'd have to disconnect the wires to the photocell when having this off. So I don't know how that would work, but it, you know, like I said, very complicated. But yeah, there's that, and yeah, really just the rest of the fixtures, just really nothing. All you got really is just your little piece of metal here. This is for the door hinge. It's just a nice piece of stainless steel metal, and then there's this for the reflector mount. Just nice stainless steel screws and pieces of metal. So pretty high quality, and that's for the latch for the door assembly. And yeah, there's not really a lot going on in this fixture when there's nothing in it. But I'm gonna go ahead and put that aside, and let's start getting into the other parts, like the door here. Here's the door. Very high quality metal. You can see the glass is just mounted in there with some screws and some tabs. So they got some nice thick screws. They're just stainless steel pieces of metal, so pretty good. And here's that little button latch thing I was talking about that Pemco did on their Cobra head fixtures. You can see it's kind of like a button. It's basically like the M400 in a sense where it's just a button you press and it unlatches, but they make this one look more like a button. It's round and it's a stainless steel piece of metal. So, and you can see the nice tension spring technology and the cotter pins they have in here. I do like this actually because this is really easy to take apart and put back together, so I can clean it really well. So really awesome, and I can polish every little piece if I need to. So yeah, pretty high quality door. You can see the hinge section back here, just a piece of metal rotted in there, and I think it's like welded in there or something. It's in there pretty well. So yeah, not a lot of other details going on other than that little M400 style detail that they have going on the door. But one thing to mention before I take the glass out are the drip holes here that you have, just in case some moisture builds up in your fixture and it needs a place to drip out. So yeah, and these are big drip holes. Usually they're pretty tiny, so definitely won't be collecting water in this anytime soon. And yeah, it's just, like I said, it's really thick metal. You can see the thickness, and it weighs a lot. It's really high quality. And let's go ahead and get the glass out. This glass is extremely high quality too. So, like I said, to get your glass out, all you gotta do is undo these tabs here a little bit. I'll just go ahead and undo the back one because I think that's the only one I really need to undo. Let's see. It's a little hard to spin. There we go. I think just like a standard fixture, I might be able to, maybe not. So these tabs, I guess, will work really well. So that's good. Your glass will, can definitely guarantee that the glass will never fall out. I gotta loosen these up a little bit more, just so they'll actually slide out. Oh, that's all right. There we go. And there is the glass. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Alright, so again, one thing I want to mention right off the bat is how high quality this glass is. This glass has its own feel of high quality. It's very unique in a sense, I guess you could say. This definitely has the same high quality as Align Materials glass. It's very, except it's probably a little thicker than Line Materials glass. It's very thick. It's very crisp and clean and mold. These details are actually, they're finished well, but they're not like rounded off or like super smooth. They're very crisp. Like it's almost like they have sharp edges, even though they really don't. But like that's how crisp the glass is. It's a very crisp piece of glass. It's very nice. It's actually some of the nicest glass. I think it's a little better than Line Materials glass, to be honest. It is just 100% high quality. This isn't the original glass to this fixture though, like I said. This is just a replacement I got from someone else. But I do have a broken chunk of the glass, I guess, that was in that fixture originally. The guy did happen to have it. But let's go ahead and just kind of look at it real quick. You can see, I want to show you guys this first, that Pemco logo. Really nice, fancy wording there. Cursive lettering, cool. And it's just a nice big circle. Now, for a holophane glass, it is, pretty standard in design, though. The rim patterns are pretty much your standard patterns, but it's molded well, like I said, and it's really nice. The only difference with this holophane glass is actually this back section. The detailing's a little bit more rugged on the back. It's a slightly different design, but you can easily tell that this is a holophane glass with that similar pattern. But yeah, it's molded pretty well. And I'll show you the rim here. Now, oddly enough, right here you can see it says, but I'll focus. My camera never ever wants to focus. There we go, holophane. And it has its patent pending. There's no real year on this glass, as far as I know. You can see it says house side, again, if it'll focus. There we go, house side. I can't really see that end because it's chipped. This glass has seen better days. And then it says street side. Of course, this won't focus. There we go. Or street end, excuse me. And oddly enough, if we go to this side, this is the odd part. You can see the style number and what type of glass it is, but it doesn't say Pemco anywhere on the rim, so I'm a little surprised that it doesn't say Pemco on it. This replacement glass is a little bit foggy, but this was came from Buffalo, New York. So they get a lot of salt and dirt there, so I'm not really surprised that this glass is, as dirty as it is. But yeah, it's a very, very nice piece of glass. I'm glad I have a replacement at all in this fixture. Now this is a unique rim pattern. This glass is actually, I guess, the same glass as a Powerlight B2255, if that's correct. I'm not really very acclimated on my Canadian fixtures, but apparently that fixture uses that same glass, but those fixtures were made in the 70s, so I'm guessing when Pemco went out of business on their Streetlight side that they acquired the rights to use the style of glass. So yeah, it's really the only other place you can find the glass, but assuming that it's made by Powerlight, it may have their logoing or may not have a logo at all. But it is the same style of glass, but obviously this design originates from Pemco, so pretty cool. Now, like I said, the original glass, the guy did have a chunk of the original glass, and I want to bring that over and show you guys something because this is very interesting. So the original glass, I guess, was destroyed when the guy had gotten it from when they were throwing it in the dumpster, I guess, or wherever this fixture was when he found it. But this is the original chunk of glass that was actually in this fixture. You can see it says Wheeler on it, and then it has a nice Hall of Fame lettering, and it actually has, funny enough, the model number of the glass right there. And it's in that same fancy lettering. This glass is probably extremely rare, at least this version, but I think my Pemco I have here, and I'll show you guys some of those other things in a minute, but I think my Pemco is actually one of the first versions, because I believe sometime back in the early 60s, Pemco and Wheeler either had a partnership, or I think Pemco bought out Wheeler, or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm beginning to believe that my Pemco fixture is probably one of the first versions, so pretty interesting to know. But yeah, it's too bad this glass is broke. I'd much prefer to have a full piece of Wheeler glass in my Pemco fixture, but that's okay. This glass is the same, even though it's not logoed as Wheeler, and I definitely won't be throwing away that broken piece just for history and preservation information reasons. So yeah, pretty nice. So go ahead and put that aside, and I'll bring the reflector over here. Now, like I said, I think mine is the old version because the guy I got the glass from, he actually has this Pemco fixture as well, and his had a gray gasket. You can see mine has a red one, and he was saying that he might have gotten one of the later versions. And I think a lot of fixtures from like the early 60s, like the Westinghouse remote ballasted fixtures, had these types of gaskets. My remote ballast OB25 I have out over in the living room downstairs actually used to have one of these red gaskets, but it fell out. It was completely deteriorated. But yeah, pretty cool to know that I probably have the oldest version. But anyway, this reflector, like every other reflector, pretty much is just a standard pressed aluminum design. It's high quality. It does need a little bit of a polish, as you can see. It's kind of foggy, but yeah, it's pretty nice. One cool thing on the front here, and it's really nice to see that it has the stickering still. It says, oh shoot, it's upside down. There we go. You can see it says Pemco, and they're really nice, fancy logoing. I'm a little surprised that they didn't have the little line details on the and molded on the glass, but that's okay. But you can see it's a Alzac processed aluminum reflector. Now, Alzac here, if you guys hadn't seen my Marblite 4-way traffic signal video, they actually make these aluminum pressed reflectors. So looks like Pemco actually had a partnership with them to make reflectors, so that's pretty cool. And this sticker is really nice. This is some really cool eye candy here, so I'm really glad this is on here still. A lot of these types of stickers fall off, so there was, I think, another sticker right here. As you can see, there's some adhesive still. Hopefully it didn't say anything too crazy or too important, but yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, just a standard pressed aluminum reflector, whether it's made by Alzac or anyone else. It's not really too exciting, but not bad at all. But yeah, anyway, now that we've seen this, let's go ahead and grab the ballast assembly and take a look at that, because that's actually one of the most impressive parts of this fixture. Alright, so I got the ballast assembly here. So, like I said, this is a 400 watt mercury vapor fixture. Now, if I turn it to the side here, you'll see something really interesting. Notice the 3 capacitors this thing has? So, when I actually first opened this, I was extremely shocked to see this. I've never seen a 400 watt ballast assembly with 3 capacitors. Now, I'll turn the camera over on the side here, but you can see it's made by Jefferson Electric Company. Now, Jefferson made transformers back in the early 60s for a couple different brands, like Jocelyn and Revere. Revere is definitely a company they specialized with. Revere loved their stuff, and Jocelyn did as well. This ballast is extremely high quality. It's the only unfortunate thing, and you probably can see it right away, is these capacitors are not original. They are the same exact style replacements though. Luckily I was able to find them. I do have the original capacitor still. This is what these capacitors look like. Let's see if I can set them kind of like on the side for you guys so you can kind of see visually where they would have been. But yeah, these are the original capacitors. Unfortunately, like every other old fixture I seem to get with caps, the caps were failed. But interesting enough, they didn't have spade terminals or anything. You can see they were all soldered together, so a little bit of a different process when going to replace these, but it wasn't too hard. But yeah, these caps unfortunately were failed. I don't know how long this fixture's not been sitting in service, or if it even worked when it was taken out of service. Probably didn't. I'm assuming back then, when Philadelphia was putting up HPS stuff, that this fixture was taken down. But yeah, these caps, they're not even... A lot of times, these old caps will fail to a short and burn up the transformers, but something I noticed about Pemco is they use caps that don't fail to a short. When the caps go bad, they just turn off. And it's actually like modern capacitor technology that they use in HID lighting still today. These caps just stop working. I tested these and I wasn't getting any continuity going through them, so none of these caps worked at all. But you can see that nice oval shape with these two standard ones. I was able to find some exact replacements. One thing to note when doing capacitor replacements, and I don't think a lot of people understand this, when you're replacing capacitors, you want to make sure that, here, I'll bring this one up here. You want to make sure that you're replacing them with the right MFD value. Now, the voltage doesn't matter, but if you go under or above this MFD value, the fixture will not function correctly. But the voltage doesn't matter as long as you're up past the original voltage. So this original cap is a 280 volt, or excuse me, a 260 volt cap, 17 MFD. So I got a 17.3 MFD. I have, I think, a 280 or something. I'm not really going to look into it though, but yeah, you can see this capacitor is made by Aerovex. I think all these are. Yeah, this is an Aerovex capacitor as well. So, I won't focus, but you get the idea. If you guys know me, I'm not a fan of these Aerovex capacitors. I've had tons of arguments with people as to how terrible these things are, because people just don't understand. New and old, these caps are so cheap, they're so crappy. I'm surprised Jefferson even had these caps with this assembly, but every Aerovex capacitor I've ever worked with has failed. Even the newer ones that they use and all the Cooper OVX stuff, they just fail all the time. These caps are so awful. And they're very notorious for short, especially these older ones, for failing to a short and just destroying ballast. Now, luckily, this transformer is actually perfectly fine. But yeah, these Aerovex capacitors are really awful, and they still, I think, make them. So if you guys are ever doing any replacements like this, don't put another Aerovex capacitor back in your fixture. I'm telling you, they're not good, and they really don't last very long. My Unistyle 1000 that I had done a video on a while ago, luckily this transformer hadn't burned up, but it was a little bit discolored. This fixture had Aerovex capacitors in it as well, and luckily they hadn't fried the light. But some of my other Pemco fixtures I had gotten in Philadelphia with this haul, a couple of the ballasts were burned up because of Aerovex capacitors being failed and they were expanding and stuff. So yeah, don't use Aerovex capacitors. I'm telling you, they're really bad, and a lot of people don't know that. So, but anyway, these newer caps are not Aerovex. These two are just new old stock caps. They're from the 60s. They're old reliables, they're called. And then this one's like a newer cap, but it's of the same shape. But yeah, now that these are replaced, this ballast works pretty fine. And like I said, the transformer, despite the shit capacitors that were in here, this transformer is extremely high quality.
They have lots of transformer varnish on it to protect it. It's very thick. It has this really nice plate, and it's a little bit unreadable, but you can easily see the voltage ratings, the wattage, and all that nonsense that they put on it. And you can see actually it's a 120 240 style fixture, even though it doesn't really specifically say that, but you can get the idea if you look at those ratings. You can pause the video if you guys want to look at this. So yeah, pretty cool. Very nice. I really do like Jefferson ballasting. It's super high quality. But yeah, very interesting to see that there's 3 capacitors in here. Now, I don't understand why this technology is like this, because a lot of capacitors, or excuse me, pretty much every 400 watt fixture from this time only really used 1. So I don't know why they thought they needed to put in 3, but you can put as many capacitors on a ballast as you want, as long as you're putting capacitors with the correct MFD that the ballast is rated for. So yeah, pretty interesting. But yeah, you can see all the wiring here. I did try to tidy it up a bit. There was a little bit of spaghetti going on in here. You can see I got some wire nuts here to resplice these wires. They were originally crimps, but they were pretty dried out and crackling, so I had to get rid of them. But yeah, these new caps had spade terminals, but I went ahead and just soldered the wires directly to them, and it works pretty good. So yeah, not bad at all. So yeah, really awesome assembly here. It's just, there's so much going on, and you can see those wires, like I said, that were spliced go up to your lamp socket here. Ooh, that's a bad time to not have that put back together right as I'm doing this video. Very unprofessional of me. I'll fix that in a minute when we look at it. But yeah, there's your lamp socket, and we'll flip this over to the front here so we can take a closer look at that. Alright, so here's the front section of it. So, like I said, this socket terminal here, you can see it's mounted to this power door here, and I'll lift it up like this. There's a bolt right here that holds it in. Pretty cool. And actually, we can look at the outside of this real quick. You can see that nice metal aesthetic design, and then there's the slot right here for where your door hinges in. Pretty cool and pretty high quality. Yeah, so your socket just screws. This metal bracket that the socket sits on just screws to that, and then your socket's basically just screwed. Your socket doesn't really have a lot of position. They really didn't add a lot of positioning features yet to fixtures during the early 60s, but you can at least move it forward or back, depending on what kind of light distribution you want. But as I've said in all my other videos, I don't really care for that. As long as it's in the center, I'm fine with that. So yeah. And one thing you can see right off the bat is a lot of eye candy going on here. First of all, this Pemco logo. It's a shame the sticker's as worn out as it is. I'm going to see if I can photocopy one of these and make a brand new one when I go to restore it. But yeah, you can see that really unique Pemco logo sticker. Very cool. And it's kind of weird that it's just so happens to be cut right here. I don't know if that's the sticker or if someone did that, but yeah, pretty awesome. It's really beautiful looking. You can see a wiring diagram here, and that's just the craziest thing in the world, because you'd never ever see anything like this in a fixture this old. It goes to show how long ago it was saved. So kudos to that guy for saving that fixture. I hope he, is up in heaven and resting in peace. I really thank him for saving this. Yeah, this is a wiring diagram for 120 setup. So you can see it says right there. I'll turn it to its side so you can get kind of a better view of what it's saying. But yeah, Pemco Model 70 Mercury Vapor Luminaire with built-in constant wattage ballast. So it's a CWA ballast, of course, because it's 120/240. And this is wiring diagram 1, apparently it says. And this is the 120 wiring diagram. So yeah, you got your whole diagram here. Pretty cool. It really is a lot that it shows right here. And you can see those 3 capacitors that go with it. So yeah, really cool. Yeah, so it says Pemco Model 70. I don't know if that is for sure what this fixture is called per se, but that could be a hint as as for what the model name of this fixture is. I do call it the Pemco 70, but for you guys who are watching this, I don't want to be very, you know, I don't want to make that like that's actually the name, because I don't want to get into territory where fixtures are being misidentified. But yeah, it is at least made by Pemco, but hopefully someday some information on that will actually be found. But for now, it's the only real piece of evidence. But yeah, really cool. This wiring diagram is extremely awesome, and if anything ever goes wrong again with this fixture in the future, hopefully it doesn't, this wiring diagram will be here for me or for anyone else to properly rewire the fixture. So, and it is very detailed. I mean, if you look closely, it says constant wattage ballast, 60 cycle. It has the, it's even like the capacitors, it tells you what values you're supposed to put in here. The voltages don't even, it doesn't show the voltages, but yeah, you could see it really goes into detail. This fixture really, as complicated as this fixture was, they really put a lot of love into it, and that's why I like this fixture so much. One last thing, and the sticker isn't there, but based on the shape of the adhesive left behind here, I can tell that this is actually a union sticker. So if anyone doesn't know what the IBEW is, I actually work for the IBEW. They actually, and I don't know if they still do, but they would partnership with companies back then to make products. And apparently this is a union-made fixture. Now, the union pays extremely high wages. They're very rich and they have a lot of money, so they can make really nice stuff like this. So I'm not surprised that that union sticker was in this fixture, because this is a very, very high quality fixture. And also to mention, not only, like I said, they help make this fixture, but you got companies like Alzac and Wheeler, possibly by chance, you know, that made this fixture. So you had a lot of people working together to make this wonderful fixture, this wonderfully complicated fixture at that. So yeah, it's really interesting to know that this is a union-made fixture. It's cool too, because I work for the union. So yeah, I'm really excited to know that. But anyway, of course, to get power to your fixture, and this is where, again, it gets kind of weird. Your wires have to come out the back of your pipe and all the way up into the front of this assembly to actually connect. So yeah, there's no terminal block already in the fixture. It's on the front of the assembly. So now, you know, I'm thinking Pemco probably did this assembly type thing probably because in case any of this stuff went bad, they were hoping that they could continue to make replacements. Obviously, this fixture didn't last very long, so it's a shame. But you can see where GE got their idea from. So, but yeah, this is the terminal block. Just a standard backlight terminal block, nothing really too special. I do like how the wires coming out of it are labeled. They're a little corroded, but they are metal coils, crimped coils, and they have numbers on them, so pretty cool. It's pretty much what used to be before the paper sticker labels were a thing. But yeah, like I said, it's set up for 120, 240. You can see two jumpers down here. It's weird how they have this wired up, because you're with how 120 and 240 is, or excuse me, with how 120 is wired on this type of ballast, your 1 and 3 wire go together and your 2 and 4 go together, but they don't have them under the same block, and I'm guessing because this is just a really tiny terminal block, so they have these jumpers down here. But when I got this fixture, apparently the wires just came in on each side, so that's how they had it. So it's kind of crammed, and I'm not really a huge fan of that. I wish they had put in a bigger terminal block, especially if I go to photocell this. I got to take all these jumpers out and completely rearrange and put those together so I can actually have the space to do that. But yeah, probably the weakest point of this light, but it's not a huge deal, as everything else in here is extremely amazing. So yeah. Now, of course, before you reassemble your fixture, since you're going to be plugging it in, you know, in your room, if any of you guys ever get one of these, you want to make sure you put your cord in first, because like I said, you have to assemble this up in the air with everything, you know, fastened down. So always make sure you have a cord in here first, because you will not be able to get back in to this fixture very easily. So you gotta have enough cord also to get up to the front. So go ahead and just slide your power door on like so. First, like I said, you got a barn latch in here. All you gotta do is latch it into that little latch in there.
And then you got your wires here. You want to make sure you screw these in to your terminal blocks. So I'll do that real quick on camera for you guys. Yeah, it's a little, like I said, this terminal block is a little bit tight. It's a little bit challenging to, especially to do this from the ground. All right, now that your wire's in, you can put everything else back in. So your reflector now, you just slide on like so. Make sure that little tab is clipped under that thing. Now you got your reflector in. I'll bring the fixture forward a little bit so you have a better view. Okay, now to put the door back on. Just like I said, put it in these slots right here. And boom. Press it down and your fixture is closed up and ready to go. So yeah, it's pretty complicated to put it back together, so hopefully you guys understand that. Of course, before we watch it warm up though, I must show you what lamp I'm putting in it. So yeah, the complication of that fixture is causing me to put a lot of continuity errors in this video, so sorry about that, but just a standard Sylvania 400 watt mercury lamp that I'm going to reinstall in it. This is a lamp that they use up here in Detroit all the time, so just nothing special, it's just a brand new lamp. This lamp right here is actually the lamp that came with it. It's an older Westinghouse lamp. I'm not too familiar on these lifeguard lamps, but based on this blue insulator, I think this may be from the 70s. But correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's a date code on the top. I'll let you guys look at that. It says, I think 8 and then 6. So maybe this is from 86. 1986. I don't really know. But this lamp don't work anymore. It's, you can kind of actually, you see that arc too, but it's at the end of its life, like way past. So yeah, just a dead lamp. I don't really know what I want to do with this. I kind of want to keep it, but at the same time I might just throw it away. People sell these brand new old stock people sell brand new old stock versions of these lamps all the time, so not really a huge loss if I throw it out. But yeah, that's pretty neat. If this is from 86, please let me know down in the comments if you guys know how to read that date code. But yeah, just a Westinghouse lamp. Pretty cool. So let me go ahead and put this in and we can get started. Alright, I went ahead and got the Pemco fixture set up. So let me go ahead now and shut all my blinds for you guys so that we can watch this thing turn on. It's really dark in here. It's a very light room because of all my curtains. So this is my unknown model name, 400 watt mercury vapor Pemco fixture in 1, 2, 3. That bulb is cold. And there we go. So you can tell right off the bat that this fixture definitely has not had very much use because that ballast is pretty quiet, but it does get a slight bit louder when it gets warmed up. I don't know why that is, but it is really, really quiet. So let's go ahead and watch it warm up. Alright, this streetlight is at full brightness. It is pretty bright, really nice looking. It's just so cool. It's such a unique fixture. I'll turn it on its side. You guys can kind of get a better look at it. The glass, let's go ahead and bring the camera up here. You can see that lovely Pemco style glass. Very cool. And if I'm kind of get the overexposure to go away, there we go. You can hear actually it is fairly quiet. It is decently bright in my room still. But But yeah, really cool fixture, really nice. Look at that glass. There's that lovely Pemco logo and fancy lettering. It looks really beautiful behind the mercury vapor light. Really awesome. You can see that nice design. And yeah, it's a very, very beautiful fixture. Very cool. Yeah, you can hear it's not very loud. I'll flip it on its back a little bit. It's a very nice, very bright fixture. Yep, and you see that sine wave. Really, really cool. I wish there was some other logoing on it, maybe like Hall of Fame or something, but I guess they didn't want to go all out with it. But yeah, pretty cool, unique piece of glass. I really like it. I'll do one more close up on that. It really is beautiful. Very nice, clear piece of glass. It is so high quality, even though it's kind of, you know, of a basic design. It really is nice. This line right here is like a little imperfection or something in the mold. Very, very nice piece of glass. Very happy with it. So yeah. Alright, so that was my 400 watt Pemco mercury vapor fixture. So this is a really good fixture. I'm really glad I could share it with you guys, and hopefully I did this fixture enough justice, as there is not a lot of information out there for this fixture at the moment. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If there is anything you guys know about these fixtures that I actually don't know, also please let me know down in the comments below, as more information will help make this fixture more identifiable to people. And if any of you guys know where any of these fixtures are, they're so hard to find. Please do everything you can to get the locations and just share it with people. Tell them where they're at so people can go and take photographs, look at them. These fixtures are very, 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 very rare, and I would really like to see where more of these are. If anyone knows where these are, please feel free to share pictures, locations, so that people can go and see these and get pictures and document these as much as possible. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you guys are new and enjoyed this video, because I will be doing more videos soon. And again, if there's anything I haven't mentioned about this fixture, please let me know down in the comments. Please stay tuned, as in the next video I am going to definitely be reviewing this fixture, the smaller Pemco fixture here, if I can get it to face you guys. So stay tuned for that. I'll be doing a video on this soon. And yeah, hope you guys have a good day. Thanks for watching.